Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Happy
Downtime.
Valentine's Day. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Welcome to this episode of
Baking with Baby.
Baking with Babies. That's the one. So today we are celebrating Mardi Gras, and 2 years ago, almost to the day, we were in New Orleans for a lot of the Mardi Gras celebrations. So we had an absolutely fabulous time. I'm wearing my Tuba de Cuba shirt, which came directly from Preservation Music Hall, and we got lots of beads when we went to one of the parades. What are we doing? I'm not quite sure, but we're celebrating Mardi Gras. And what are we making today? We've never tried making these before. What are we making?
Beignets.
Beignet, not
Benoit.
not Benoit. We have a really good friend whose name is Benoit, and when Liam was really little, he used to call beignets Benoit. So we are not making Benoit. We are making
Beignets.
beignets. Okay.
Why?
Why are we not making Benoit?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We don't have the recipe for Benoit. We have the recipe for beignets. So we're going to try our hand at making beignets, which if you don't know what beignets are, for Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, beignets down in New Orleans are these wonderful, really pillowy, puffy, fried bits of dough that you put lots and lots of powdered sugar on, and they're absolutely delicious, aren't they? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely delicious. So, and since we've never tried them before, last year, Shrove Tuesday or Pancake Tuesday is another name for Mardi Gras, and last year we made pancakes. So this year we're going to have pancakes for dinner, but we thought we'd try our hand at making traditional beignets, just like being in New Orleans, because it will make us feel like we're back in New Orleans again. So we're going to try our hands at them. We've never tried this recipe, so we're trying it along with you, and we're going to get you started. So we're going to
Yes. I'll put in the flour too.
Well, we're actually going to start with the warm water and with the yeast first. Would you like to help me? Because we start that off. We've got a lot of different ingredients over here. Can you help me with the ingredients? What do we have? What are these guys? Eggs,
Flour.
flour, yeast, milk,
Warm water.
Do you know what this is?
No.
This is melted butter,
Melted butter.
salt, and
Sugar.
and then after
Oil.
oil. The oil is for frying, so the oil and what's in here usually? Remember? Powdered sugar. So the oil and the powdered sugar are for later on, but we thought we'd put them on the table just so we had all of the ingredients. And we're going to start you off with the warm water and with the yeast because it needs time to dissolve and it needs time to get bubbly on the top. So would you mind helping me? We are going to get, I'm reading along this recipe with you guys just to make sure. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of active yeast. So which one's a teaspoon, do you remember? That's the 1/4 teaspoon. Not quite, that's the 1/2 teaspoon. All right, so we need 2 of those. So can you help me measure out 2 teaspoons? Stick it all the way in there. Yeah, nice job. Stick that in. Yep, that's great. Okay, so that's whoop, 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 whoop. All right.
Looks like I made a mess.
It's all right. That's what it's all about. All right. Oh, that's why it's hooked onto the thing here. When did that happen? All right, let's help you out a little bit. Try that again. So that's 1, and that's 2. Perfect. And then we're going to add some warm water to that. Mix that up until it's stirred up really well, please. And once that's stirred up really well, we're going to let it sit for about 7 to 10 minutes until you start to see lots and lots of little bubbles, or you have kind of almost a film or shelf across the top with all those little bubbles. And that's really important because that's what's going to give that lovely rise to the beignets in the end. They almost, they do, the way they cut them, they're almost in rectangles and they're like little pillows. All right, so we want to make sure, where's the other, here we are. We want to make sure all of these little bits. Did we lose our king? Our Mardi Gras king?
Oh.
Oh, did we switch? Did we switch? Did we switch? I want to make sure all these little bits are mixed up really, really well. So it helps it to dissolve. Okay. And if you miss one or two, that's okay. But we want to try and do that. Okay, so let's set this aside. That's pretty well mixed up. Let's set this aside for just a moment. Okay. For just a moment or a couple minutes. And let's put this up here. All right, our next thing is that we're going to get 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. So let's try cracking them into here. Would you mind helping me out cracking our eggs? Just on this one. Just on this one. We don't need to do a double. Or you want to try it? We'll see. I don't know. It might be messy. Almost. That's pretty good. You want to get one side, I'll get the other?
Can you?
Both of them? Okay. Need you help me out? Thank you. All right, so that's 1 whole egg. And then we'll do just the yolk. Remember which part the yolk is? Which part is the yolk inside? The yellow or the outside? I think you're good.
The yellow.
The yellow part. So what we're going to do in here is we're going to put the egg whites in here. You want to help me open it up? And we're going to open up really slowly and let just the egg whites drip out. And put it out this way, and then we're going to scooch it over this side. Yeah, and then we're going to pour that. Yep. Very good. All right. And we're going to mix that up. Whoop, I forgot to grab a fork to mix that up.
Excuse me.
Can you mix that? Can you mix those up, please, sir? Nice job. Yeah, really mix them up really, really well.
Can you put it in the thing?
Yeah, we'll just mix them up a little bit more. Today's been a busy day, hasn't it?
Yeah, may you get the bowl?
I will. We're gonna let that sit just for another couple of minutes. Who was over today? Who came over?
Cheryl.
Who came over?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Veruna's percussionist Cheryl. What happened today? Come on, sit down. What happened today? Was she helping? That's for grinding up spices. We're not going to use that in this recipe. What did Cheryl help us with today? Do you remember? Out on the deck?
A maple syrup.
Our maple syrup. So Cheryl was a Baking with Baby special guest today. So we've had a really busy day, and we got to show her all of the different steps of making syrup, including getting down to the syrup stage. So it was a pretty exciting day. All right, buddy.
It smells yummy.
It smells yummy with the yeast.
The water.
All right, Mr. Moo. All right, we're gonna give it just another second or two, and then we'll be right back with the yeast. We'll see you in just a second, everybody. So just gonna add a tablespoon of sugar in here to help the yeast activate a little bit. It also gives the yeast something to feed on, so to speak, which helps it to get a bit more bubbly. So hopefully in just a couple minutes we'll see several bubbles on there and get us going a bit. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're gonna get started with adding all the things into our yeast and water and tablespoon of sugar mixture. So we're actually gonna add another, let's see, 1/3 a cup of sugar. So can we get our 1/3 cup? There we go. That's really big underneath there. So there we go. 1/3 a cup of sugar. Let's put that in. All of it. And did you want to take a taste? Do you remember what's the word for taste? For a little bit? Can you say blura? Blura, which is just a little bit of a taste in Irish. So we're gonna have a blura of sugar. Okay, so mix that up, and then we're gonna add our eggs. Keep mixing. All right, our eggs. We're going to add our 3 tablespoons of melted butter, which it's a little chilly in here. It's starting to solidify a little bit, but we'll be okay. All right, keep mixing, dude. You're doing a great job. And our 2/3 of a cup of milk. Mix all that together really nicely.
Hey, Mom,
Yes,
I'm driving the milk.
You're driving the milk?
Like this.
I see you. One hand on both sides. Whose whisk is that?
Granny.
Granny's. And Mardi Gras this year falls on the 1st of March, with Granny's birthday. It's coming up in just a few days, on the 10th. All right, so once that's really well mixed up, you're going to add, let's see, make sure we have everything. We've got our warm water, we've got our yeast, our tablespoon of sugar, and another 1/3 cup. We've got our 2/3 cup of milk, our large egg and 1 egg yolk. We've got 3 tablespoons of melted butter, and then we're going to add our teaspoon of sea salt, or kosher salt in our case. So let's get our teaspoon here. Okay. Take that a little bit. And the recipe calls for unsalted butter. We don't have unsalted butter at the moment, but if you like to go along with the recipe, it calls for unsalted butter. All right, mix that up a little bit. And then it calls for 4 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour. We measured that out ahead of time, so this is 4 1/3 cups. So once this is mixed up, we're going to take the whisk out and just use the spoons because it's going to start to get a little clogged. Nice job, dude. All right, and you can do this with a mixer. As you guys probably know by now, we like to do a lot of our things by hand, especially with little guys. It's just get your hands in. All right, shall we try? Let's take the whisk out for a second. Let's kind of tap it off gently on the side. Yeah, nice job. And then we're going to add this bit by bit.
Can you go really fast with the whisk and the flour?
Well, it tends, with the whisk, it tends to get kind of clogged in with the flour. So we're going to use the spoons. And if you're using a mixer, it says about 2 or 3 minutes or until it starts. Whoop, no climbing on the table, dude. What do you need? Spoon? There you go. And slowly, slowly tell everybody, keep it in the bowl. Keep it in the bowl. All right. So it says about 2 to 3 minutes in a mixer, or until it starts to come off of the sides. If you're doing it by hand, it's however long it takes to kind of mix it in properly and take it off the sides of the bowl. After you've mixed all this together, you're going to let it sit and rise for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on how warm it is in your house. We'll probably turn the oven on in our kitchen just because it's a little chilly today, and help it out with the rise. And then after it rises, you're then going to roll everything out. Whoopsie. You're going to roll it all out and then cut your beignets as well. And so when it's rising, a way to tell that it's fully risen, so to speak, is that it will double in size. So you want to make sure that it doubles in size. Okay, really well mixed up. I think we're almost there.
I'm trying to chop it up really well.
Yeah.
Chop the beignets.
Chop the beignets. Another reason why we absolutely love New Orleans so much is that the last time that we were down there 2 years ago, Bruna, our band, our Celtic Roots band, filmed 2 music videos down there when we were down there in February of 2020, just before everything closed down because of the pandemic. And one of the ones that we filmed was called Buttermilk Sky. It's an old Hoagie Carmichael tune that's just just lovely song and just super fun to dance to. And we spent the day just kind of dancing around Jackson Square, eating beignets, and having just a fabulous time. So so the whole day today is just we've been kind of bopping around to Buttermilk Sky and doing all sorts of fun things. And so making beignets is reminding us of that as well. Alrighty, dude, I think we're good. All right, so let's let this sit and rise and say, we'll see you in about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, everybody. Tell them.
I put the brake on.
Good idea to put the brake on. Tell everybody, say, we'll see you in about 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
This make the brake go really slow.
This makes the brake go really slow? Okay.
This make
So
It did make it wide to a very long time.
A very long time. Well, we don't want it too long because we want to be able to use it.
And this made the breaker really fast. This made it wide too fast.
Too fast. Well, can you help me? We're going.
How fast why did it? It how it just slide just slide out the bowl.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's make sure it doesn't fly out of the bowl. Let's cover it with a tea towel, or if you'd like to cover it with plastic wrap, you can do that as well. All right, dude, let's cover it up, and we'll see you in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody, to our next stage of Baking with Babies. We're making what? Beignets, not Benoit. So
Why not Benoit?
Because we were just being silly. So it took ages, because our house is a little bit chilly, it took ages for our dough to rise. It finally has doubled, but it took a little over 3 hours. It's supposed to take an hour and a half to 2 hours. It took a little over 3. So we are a little bit behind our schedule of what we were planning. So we're going to get going with all of this and gather all our dough out. Like I said, we've never done this before, so we're seeing how we do. Okay, and we're going to gather all of that. You can see how it's risen there. And we're hoping that hasn't now risen too much. We put it on top of our oven. We turned our oven on to help kind of get it going since it was taking such a long time. So we'll see how we do. And maybe this is a little too much, but let's see. Okay. And what? Wait.
I wasn't really planning on that.
You want to get the other one? So Liam's going to go pick a very special rolling pin. This is a rolling pin that was made by a friend of ours for Liam, and another matching one for me. While Liam is going to get that, I'm going to sprinkle out some of the flour over top of the dough. Perfect. Very fancy one. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to spread flour out on whatever surface you're working on. Give yourself some room, and then once you put the dough, just one moment. Once you put the dough on, you're going to sprinkle flour over top of the dough as well, so it doesn't get too sticky.
Hi.
It's still kind of warm from being on top of the oven, isn't it? All right, so you're going to take your rolling pin, flour them down, and then we're going to roll it out. Can you help me roll it out?
It's making my hand warm.
I know.
My hand was cold up here.
Your hand was cold up here, now it's warm? Nice and warm.
I'm trying to make it warm.
All right, well, let's roll it out so we can make some beignets. So let's start. Ooh, look how pillowy it is. Okay, so we're going to start from the center and push it out. And you want to get this to about...
Look at my design.
I see that.
I'm going to roll them back out.
We shall. Hang on one second. We're telling everybody how thin it's supposed to be. You want to get it between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch thick.
Can you roll it out like that? But I don't want my design to wipe away.
There you are. All the way across and this way too. So you want it to be about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch thick. So we're getting to be right about that place. And don't be afraid. The stuff that I was reading in the recipe, in the video that we were watching on it says don't be afraid to roll it out because they will pop back up. Okay, not too hard. We don't want to push too hard. But you'll feel how pillowy it is. Feel how light and fluffy it is. Yeah. All right. So I think we're just about good with the rolling. We're just about good with the rolling pin. Are we ready? Are we ready to cut? Shall we cut them?
Yeah, but I want my design.
I don't know if the design will show up once they start to fry, but we'll see. Okay, and put it over one more time just to see.
And then out that way, and then in that way.
And then in this way one more time. All right, let's see. I'm not sure if it'll make it, but we'll see. All right, so now we're gonna cut. You can take just a knife, or if you have a pizza cutter, a roller cutter. Liam was very excited about this part when we were watching this earlier. All right, so if you've got some little kiddos who are helping you, where does your hand go? Right on your knee. Yeah, this one goes right in your lap, right on your knee, and the other one holding it right with me. Okay. So maybe cut the edges off just to give yourself a little bit of a straighter edge. Yeah, let's go through that one more time. And you're just going to cut it in kind of wide strips because you're ultimately going to want rectangles. So cut it straight down. And that's if you want the kind of classic beignet shape, because in terms of the taste, I don't think it really matters all that much. But if you want them to look kind of like pillows in that classic beignet shape that you would get at Cafe Beignet or Cafe du Monde, we want to go for these kind of straight rectangles. Okay, and one more at the very end. All right, and now we're going to go across this way. Do you want to come on this side? Or shall we turn the whole table? Turn the whole table. Okay, and just before we started rolling everything out.
Why are we going to roll it out this way?
This way, because right now we only did the straight lines this way. We did them horizontally, now we need to do them vertically this way so that we have rectangles. So just before we did this, we put some oil, any kind of neutral oil, so it can be vegetable oil, safflower oil, or something like that. I think they said they use cottonseed oil down in Cafe du Monde, down in NOLA, but we have just some regular vegetable oil, any kind of neutral oil will do. And you want to fill, whether it's a wok or a pot, and put it on a medium to medium high heat to get started. So we put that on before we rolled this out, just to give that time to heat. And that part is definitely the sans baby part.
I'll put my finger in all of them so I could do wide enough.
Okay. One more. And there we are. Okay. All right, let's, whoop, careful, careful.
We didn't quite cut that out on it.
That's okay, we'll get it on that side in a minute. All right, so let's start this side. Okay, start up at the top again. Up the top, right up here, you're good. And all these excess little bits, you can cook them too. This is just,
Let's go through that one more.
let's go through that one more time.
Because
Yeah, it's kind of sticky. Let's get a little bit of flour on here. Okay. Much better. So you can cook all of the excess bits, but you just want to make sure that you just a moment. You want to make sure that you get all the rectangles as well. Yes, sir.
Now that we're on the inside, we can make more down
More of the rectangles. Okay, scooch this arm back. Good job. Okay. And one last little bit here. Nice job. Okay, so once you have all of these, we're going to start frying them in the oil, and that's the part that Mama will do on her own for at least the beginning. Maybe you can come up to watch at one point once we put them in. So we'll get that going, and we'll see you in just a second, guys. Thanks so much. All right, everybody. So here's our oil. We've been heating this for a while. I'm going to put just a little piece of dough in here to see how it's doing. And it looks like it's getting there. Yep, there it is. It pops up. If it pops up like that, it means that the oil is hot enough and ready for the dough to start frying. And you can see it's already starting to puff up a lot in there. So what we're going to do is take a couple of our pillows and see how many. It depends on how big your pot or your fryer is. If you're doing this in the oven, you can set your fryer to 350 degrees is what it says. We don't have a fryer. A fryer to fry things in. So we don't have a fryer to go into our oven, so we're doing it on the stove. So I'm going to put a couple of these in. It says to cook them for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per side, or until golden brown. So you'll do them on one side, and then you can take a spoon or a knife and just kind of literally pop them over, is what he said. So let's see how we do. All right, but be very, very careful as you're putting them in. We're going to try 5 or 6 in here at a time, and see, you can already see how they're popping up on this side. Wait, can you see them? I'll stand up for a sec. Ready? You see them, how they're popping up? Scooch this one over. And you don't want to make it too hot so that they burn and don't cook on the inside, so that's why they say they want it at a medium to medium high heat. And so you can see they're starting to really pillow up on this side.
Alright, my mom.
Look, can you see? Come here, look. Hurry up, quick. See how they're getting all puffy? Yeah, that's the air coming out as it gets hotter, so like this.
My mom,
yes,
I'll roll out the whole pen. Yay.
Oh, just those two. None of the ones back here, because we want to eat those, but those two are good. Okay?
Why?
Well, we want to eat the rest of them. If we roll them all out again, then we won't be able to cook them up. All right, let's see how we're doing on this side. Oh, getting there. Oh, and so you can see once it gets here, and it can be even a little bit deeper of a color, but once you're ready to flip them over, you literally can just kind of pop them over like that, and they'll start to go. Just be careful so that you're not splattering everything. So you want to be gentle as you're going. And you want to make sure that they're cooked fully on both sides. That still looks a little bit light. Let's see about this one. And while they're cooking, or before you start cooking, you want to lay out a plate with paper towels, parchment paper, something that you're going to be able to drain off some of the oil from, and definitely let it cool before you actually eat it, because it will be excessively hot. Yeah, there we go. I don't know, bud. Look at these. Looking pretty good. Can you see from there? Look up.
Yeah. Quick.
Quick, quick, quick. Oh! Looking good.
Why did it get that?
What's that?
Why did it get like that?
Why does it get like that? Well, they're like pillows floating on the top. All right, let's see. It's still a little light on the other side.
Mama, I'll bring it back over and put some more flour on the table so that this this beignet I'm playing we can get flour on it. On the bottom of it.
Perfect.
A lot of flour.
A lot of flour, no sticking.
So that it doesn't stick to the table. So that it doesn't stick anywhere.
Good job, dude.
I think I should get some flour. Yeah. That's all.
All right, guys. So I just flipped them over just to see how we were doing on the other side, and it's looking pretty good. And so some of the ones that were a little bit lighter, we were just giving an extra 30 seconds to, and I think they're about ready to take off, and we'll put the next round in. So when you're doing this, again, if you're using a slotted spoon or something like that, I'd say that's a good idea to lift them up to help drain off a lot of the oil before you take them off. And then you're gonna let them sit. Again, really important to let them drain from the oil so they're not greasy, but most importantly so that they're not too hot. And especially if you're doing these with little guys, make sure they've cooled completely. Smells pretty nice in here, doesn't it, dude?
Yeah,
As you can see, it's been a full Mardi Gras experience. We had crepes or pancakes for Pancake Tuesday or Shrove Tuesday as well. So it's been quite the day. All right, let's get the next round going. Let those cool and get the next round in. So far, they're coming out really, really well. These have cooled down. They're just a little bit warm, and they look wonderful, but what are they missing?
the powdered sugar.
The powdered sugar. Let's do the honors, shall we? Ready? Lots of it. Lots of it. All over. All over. Yeah, 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 yeah. All over. Lots more. Lots more. Lots more. Get them all. Get them all. Get them all. Dude, you're hired. Right, more on this one, more on this one, more on this one. Perfect. All right, those look like classic New Orleans beignets. Shall we try one?
I made a mess.
I know, it's wonderful. Shall we try one?
I made a big mess, but you wanted to mess.
Shall we? Want to try one together? Ready? 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 Oh, is that good? Mm-hmm. And say, Happy Mardi Gras, everybody.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. That's pretty amazing, dude. See you at the next episode.